Yeah, forget about everything else. The most important thing going on in society right now in the news, it's Friday. Not only that, Friday the 13th. Are you scared? I don't know what it is. Some of my best days have been Friday the 13th. I don't know how that works out. I know a lot of people are still freaked out about it. The superstitious. What is it? The triskaidekaphobiacs? Is that still the term for that? I don't know why. Now, full moons, hate full moons. Hate them because I hate the way, because it freaks people out. It's true. Actually happens. Look at the crime rates, accident rates, cops, emergency room officials, fire departments. They hate full moons. Friday the 13th. That's cool, though. Don't let that bother you. Thanks for finding me. Thanks for finding Friday and Wicked Radio. A lot to talk about today. Trump had a hell of a day yesterday, one of his best in history, in fact. Unfortunately, the copycat crimes, healthcare threat crimes have started already. I have a specific group of people to blame on this. It's not the healthcare people. It's not. I'll give you a hint. They're in the media. Yeah, that. And we're going to wrap up today's show. We have to get into this. I'm fascinated and horrified by this all at the same time. There's an OnlyFans model, if you're just listening in the audio version, I'm using finger quotes, an OnlyFans model. There's a big shocker here. Guess what? She regrets doing 100 dudes in one day. Yeah, I guess that didn't go as well as planned. But even though she regrets that, she's planning on 1,000 in February. It's tough to feel sorry for somebody like that, isn't it? All right, speaking of the audio version of the podcast is available usually about 9 a.m. Eastern time, wherever you get your podcasts. Starting on Monday, by the way, a little programming note looking ahead. I'm pretty sure, I'm 85.6% sure that this is going to be on some other platforms as well. I think we got clearance on that, so that should be good. I'll tell you what a little bit later on as we get going here. Let's get going with it, though. Wow. What a day for Trump. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and this is his line, and I'm going to steal it because it's great. He opened up his conversation with this. He texted it to me, and he said, from mugshot to Time magazine cover to the opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange. I thought, wow, you know what? You put it in those terms, it's true. It is the biggest American comeback in all time for Trump. It is. Even if you've got people in your life, maybe it's you, I don't know, who just can't stand Trump personally, maybe. You cannot deny that this is one of the greatest comebacks in any field you're talking about, in anything, whether it's politics or business, it's all kind of intertwined, or entertainment, or anything. Even if this would be one of the most amazing sports comebacks. He was left for dead. But then it all results in this. Rang the bell. And it led to, of course, Chants of USA. Very patriotic thing. You know, it's very important. And the way he said it, I thought was awesome, which is why I wanted to highlight it. What he said after that, we'll get to here in a second. And I think it's really important because he turned this into, this iconic thing. It's a great honor in the business world, which was, of course, where he comes from, before politics even happened, to ring the bell at the NYSE. Of course it is, right? But he didn't just leave it that. He didn't pack up his crew, and there were a lot of his people there yesterday. Melania was there. The family was there. It was big because it's a great honor. What he said afterwards, as far as taking this as an opportunity to highlight what he's planning on doing forward here for all of us, for American ingenuity and business and innovation and bringing and keeping American companies here, this was the most important part. Yeah, ringing the bell was cool, but this is where it mattered.
We're gonna do things I think that haven't been really done before. We're gonna be cutting taxes still further. As you know, we got it down to 21%. We're gonna bring it down even below that. You pay 21 if you don't build here, and meaning your product or whatever it is you're building. And if you do, we're gonna try getting it down to 15%. But you have to build your product, make your product in the USA.
You might have seen this news clip as well, but he's talking to Jim Cramer from CNBC while he's there. I was like, oh no, get Jim off the stage. If you don't know Jim Cramer, the stock guy, it's widely perceived that he's wrong about everything. Like he's wrong about every stock. So if Jim Cramer loves a stock, it's a dog with fleas, right? And by the way, Jim Cramer had said this when he got right before the election. I am now predicting the markets are telling me that Trump's going to win this election. And all of us were going, no, God, no. Don't get the Jim Cramer prediction. But there he was, doing the interview with Trump. And I think it was great. That's where Trump is really good, where he talks about optimism. When you think about that job as president, right? It's a little bit different now because he has so much to fix. That's why these appointments are so important. That's why this cabinet's so important. But you really are a cheerleader, aren't you? It's so important to get there. Reagan was great at this. I would even say Bill Clinton was really good at this as well. He really was. You got to be a cheerleader for the psychological direction of the country. You have to. You have to kind of like impart this feeling of confidence and wisdom and, hope that the country's going in the right direction. Trump's really good at that. That was good Trump messaging right there. I really liked it. I thought that was excellent. Well, unfortunately, we all predicted this. Here come the copycat crimes for the healthcare threats. I'll say this again because we've talked about this all week. Ever since the United Healthcare CEO got gunned down in the streets of Manhattan, nobody's in favor of violence. But you would be, outside of people who are making money from the healthcare industry, I don't think you're going to find anybody that's actually in favor of how that industry does things. The two can be mutually exclusive. They can. They're two separate concepts. You can hate the healthcare industry, the way they do things, and personally, I do, and not want to gun down a CEO. We don't want to live in a country where we take out CEOs or threaten them. And I guess the side story to this makes sense. CEOs have beefed up security, across the country and at their conferences and at their meetings and at their board of directors, shareholder meetings. Of course they should, because copycat crimes happen, and we've got our first real notable one. I'm sure there were other ones that are happening here, and no, nobody got gunned down, but the threats are there, and this one comes out of, well, here you go, Florida. Another Florida dope checking in. This lady's name is Brianna Boston. Now she's going through some sort of health crisis. She's got Blue Cross Blue Shield. She was on the phone with them. They turned down her, and I'm sure it's a very serious issue and she needs coverage, and I'm sure it's not a fair situation, and I get that. Well, what does she do? She gets on the phone and she makes threats. Well, of course, if you do that to any company these days, they got to turn that recording over to the FBI or local authorities, and they're going to arrest you. I don't usually do this, but here's at either Lakeland or Orlando, the TV station, whatever talking head did the story on this. This is them talking about exactly what she did because they have her wording perfectly. This is how she got in trouble.
Authorities say in a recorded phone call about a denied insurance claim, Boston told a Blue Cross Blue Shield employee, quote, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, end quote.
That's going to get you arrested. Even before this happened, you made a direct threat. They turned it over to the FBI. They got a hold of the Lakeland, Florida cops, and they arrested this girl. And now she's facing, I don't know, whatever she's facing. And they're going to make an example out of her because of the timing of this, because they can't have this. This is why I kind of thought, now that they've arrested Luigi and his eyebrows, we're not going to hear a lot more. They're going to bury this story probably about his reasoning for doing this. They're probably going to try to squash this story as much as possible because the authorities, the FBI and local authorities, want to stop these copycat things from happening. The media is running wild with it, and politicians are running wild with it. Case in point, and this is exactly who I'm blaming for this kind of thing. Let's go to Pocahontas. Elizabeth Warren, Massachusetts senator. She's been in there since the dawn of time. Well, this is what she said to MSNBC yesterday, taking absolutely no responsibility, of course, for policies, by the way, policies put in place that she voted for. She and the Democrats voted for. They did. Republicans did too. She didn't take any responsibility for this. Listen to what she said on it. This is almost, you can almost take this to mean she's justifying the violence. Almost. Here's what she said.
Billionaires run it all is they get the opportunity to squeeze every last penny.
Yeah.
And look, we'll say it over and over. Violence is never the answer. This guy gets a trial who's allegedly killed the CEO of United Health. But you can only push people so far.
What? This is, oh God, this is why she and politicians like that drive me absolutely insane. We'll say it over and over. Violence is never the answer, but you can only push people too far. Don't ever say that. Just don't say that. Why? Why did you do that? And I'll go back to this again. She has been in the Senate for years. She saw all of these healthcare changes happen. She supported it. She voted for it. She, a big proponent of Obamacare. A big proponent of that, takes no responsibility there, and then has the gall to say the right thing, violence is never the answer. Why not leave it at that? Okay, if you've got somebody on the edge anyway, and they're like a Luigi and or this lady in Lakeland, and they're already, just at wit's end with their insurance company, and a lot of us are in that situation. It's just a defunct system, it is. And then they hear Elizabeth Warren Maybe it's somebody that even voted for her in Massachusetts. You hear her say, you can only push people too far. If you're on the edge anyway, like this Brianna lady was, and Luigi obviously was, you hear that, you do, and you say, oh, well, maybe I am justified in doing this. Maybe I can make threats. Elizabeth Warren is a dope. And people like that and in the media who keep on pushing out that message, well, people are justified. You can only push people too far. You're only adding to the problem. That's why I'm just so enraged at this. Again, it's not that tough of a concept. You can hate the way insurance companies do things, and I think we all do at this point. Can we all agree? Unless you're making a lot of money off of it. And not want to have insurance company CEOs gunned down in the street or threats being made to them over the phone or in public or online. You don't want a country like that. You absolutely don't. It's not the way to go. It's really not. All right, we got to get to this and give some time to it. So I don't know if I don't think any of you guys are familiar with the name Lily Phillips. Until now. I hadn't been either. Full disclosure. She is apparently an OnlyFans, and again, if you're just listening in the audio podcast, I'm using finger quotes, an OnlyFans model who just recently broke, I guess, I understand it's a record, I guess, because it's all documented. I don't know whether this was on OnlyFans. I didn't look into it that much, or there's a full video of, I don't know. But Lily Phillips is now famous because she did 100 guys in 24 hours. That's right. 100 dudes in one day. Now, I had to look this number up because I said when I posted the little, before we go on, I'll put on X, I'll say, coming up in 10 minutes, these are the things we're talking about for Wicked Radio. And I put that and I said, OnlyFans model regrets doing 100 dudes in one day. Sent that out. And then I followed up putting the sound together. And I said, oh, wait a minute, I got that wrong. It was 1,000. Oh, my God. No, wait. Another site says 100. Well, here's why I was confused. She did 100, but made another follow-up video that said she wants 1,000, and that's going to happen in February. Now, get this, before we get to her sound, because there's a follow-up to the story. She did a recruitment video, and there are ads out there, apparently. I don't know where these are running, but there's a casting call for some talent agency, and sure enough, there it says. The headline of the casting call and the post is 1,000 men in 24 hours. Here's the location. I'm not going to give that to you. Here's the ad. Here's where you apply. Here's that, all the crap. Okay. Then why is she doing interviews with, I believe this is the BBC. I don't know. She's English. Or some media outlet. And lo and behold, I know this is a shocker, but this poor broken girl, and I don't know where her parents are, you're not going to believe this, even though she's put out the ad for 1,000 in February, she regrets what she did. And she says it's not a very nice feeling.
I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Oh.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out. It feels intense.
I bet.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
And they had to cut the interview short, and I don't know whether that was the end of it there, and she came back and talked about it later or whatever, but look, she's obviously a broken soul. We know that much. And most of the posts online talking about this, most people ask the very same question. Where are her parents? I don't know. Those poor people. I have 2 daughters myself, so my mind goes there as well. I'm like, my God, I can't freaking imagine what went wrong to lead to this, honestly. But I will say that, I've always been somebody, I'll never judge anybody else for what they do for money, unless you're hurting people. But in this case, she's hurting herself. Obviously, you listen to that, that's a broken soul. But it didn't stop her. This is why you can't have too much sympathy for somebody like this. Didn't stop her from working with whatever agency this is, whatever publicist. Maybe it's through OnlyFans itself. I don't know. I have no idea. To push forward, and the amazing thing is, even after all that, going ahead with plans to boost it up 10 times that for 1,000 in February. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you can't go online and beg for sympathy and I think they're real tears. I don't think all that's fake. I really don't. I think she really regrets this. And yet has every opportunity in the world, unless she's contractually obligated. Excuse me. And I think she can still get out of it. I mean, wouldn't you? Realizing the horror, you can tell in her voice how horrified she is by that. No, that wasn't enough. Still going full. And by the way, that ad that I just read there for 1,000 in February, I mean, that's new. That's after this interview was taped. Gross. So I don't know. I guess the end result is people have a right to make a living the way that they want to make it. It's nothing illegal. This is all voluntary. It's all consensual, but for the rest of society, I guess you just don't support it. That's the takeaway there, but wow. Sad. I kind of regret talking about that as a topic today. I was just fascinated by it. Not because of what she did, but because of like the end result. You know what I'm saying. All right, listen, it's Friday the 13th. Do not be superstitious. Friday the 13th, if that's a plural, they are awesome. Make it a great day. Listen to this. If you have a great day today, you'll look forward to Friday the 13th for next year because this is our last one of the year. Huh? Look at it that way. Got to be positive because it's Friday. Have a wicked awesome Friday. All right. Takeaway? I don't know. There's no real takeaways for the OnlyFans model. What else are you going to say about that other than don't do something stupid you're going to regret and then double down on it? Is that the takeaway? I guess so. The main thing, don't ever take any crap from anybody. Audio podcast for Wicked Radio. It's where you download them, you get them. If everything goes right by the end of the weekend, we should be able to get the live stream not only on X and YouTube, not much happening on YouTube, but mainly on X. Should be maybe possibly on Facebook and Instagram as well on Monday, I think. I don't know. I'll give you an update on that and the exact name of the pages so you can get that as well. If you're interested, I don't know. You're telling me you are so far, so let's see. With all that said, have a wicked awesome Friday. A wicked awesome Friday the 13th. Make it great. Don't be superstitious. With all that said, we will talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend.